Hey, welcome everybody to Beyond the Vowz with
Marcus.
and LaFlower. Guys, we are so excited to to be here. Oh my gosh, we haven't worked on a project together or a project like this in a while. So we are so excited to be here and to share with you guys. So let me introduce my co-host to you guys. So some of you know him. This may be a reintroduction or a first introduction, but Mr. Marcus Bowie, he is my number one guy, guys. He is an amazing father. He is an awesome husband, guys. He is a great businessman, and he is a man of God. I really don't know where I would be if it wasn't for this guy right
I don't
here.
know either.
He just asked me, babe, how long we've been married? And I was like, 8 years. No, he was like, wrong. So he definitely keeps me grounded. He keeps me focused. And I don't know if I could be doing this journey of life without him. In fact, I know I couldn't be doing this journey of life without him. So guys, this is my co-host, Mr. Marcus Bowie. How you doing, Boo?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So I guess it's my turn to go ahead and introduce my co-host, who's obviously dear to my heart. My wife. She's also to me the true term of Wonder Woman because she's a mom of 8 kids. Dang.
Really?
8 kids. And she's a super entrepreneur. Like, man, she didn't sold Avon vacuums. She didn't sold soaps, potions, sold anything that you probably think of. She's like the master entrepreneur. You know, when I met her, that's what she was doing. That was her thing. And I was like, man, that's not my lane. But over time, she wore me down with it. So
I wore you down?
Oh, yeah. She's awesome at it. And then, of course, she's a woman of God. Near and dear to my heart. You know, that strikes a chord with me because I'm a man of God. I believe in faith, church, and family. And it's good to have somebody that's on the same page. Somebody that you can fellowship with, build together, and just be on the same accord. So I'm proud to say this is my life partner, and we're going to rock this thing out.
Oh, we're going to rock it out. All right, guys. Well, thank you, babe, for that amazing introduction. I'm so
for sure.
happy that you're my co-host. For now and forever, my forever boo. But guys, we are so excited to be here with Beyond the Vowz. And first, you're probably wondering, what is Beyond the Vowz? Well, this is our premiere episode 1, or our premiere episode, right? So Beyond the Vowz to me is just really an opportunity to literally go beyond saying I do. Because I wasn't ready for everything that came after saying I do. Even though this is my second marriage, I still wasn't ready because I was so used to wearing the pants. I was so used to having to wear all those hats and do so many things, guys, that I really was not prepared to go beyond the vows with Marcus. So here we are. So we decided, or my version of why we decided to start Beyond the Vowz is to really talk about things in regards to faith, family, fitness, and finance that go beyond your wedding day.
It's a lot of F's.
It is we got to get effed up, right? We got to make sure we stay effed up because as long as we have those F's in order, then we can do some amazing things together.
For sure.
What is it to you, babe? What's Beyond the Vowz?
Well, I mean, everybody's, blissful and happy. With engagement, it can get kind of nightmares with planning the wedding, bridezillas and all that, but it's a beautiful time. Everybody looks forward to the wedding and the reception and the honeymoon. Everything's just so blissful, and you're looking into each other's eyes. I love you. And, I love you too, boo. But once all the dust is settled and we're beyond those vows and we back at home, that's when reality hits, and that's where it can get kind of rough, get a little tough, and we're here to help you guys navigate those I guess adventures,
those adventurous waters
that you're gonna go through. Because believe me, we have been through some things.
We've been through hell.
Like she
We've
said,
been through hell.
She's been married before, and I have as well.
Right.
So we've had our lumps and bruises in marriage, but we found each other, and it's a good thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is.
Right. Now, I know you guys may be saying, what do they go, like, what advice can Flower and Marcus give? Well, just to tell you a little bit more about us and some of the experiences that we've been through. And like I said, we just want to help y'all go beyond the vows and stay beyond the vows, because we see so many couples breaking up, so many marriages on the rocks, and where we've been. And we are just blessed that we were able to get past those humps, those seasons that you go through personally together with your marriage and with your children. So just to tell you a little bit more about me. So I grew up in a very small country town. My parents were married for 20 something years. Let's see, I'm a teenage mom, guys. Got engaged at very young, married very young, and ended up being divorced. Got cheated on a few times, all types of things, guys. Even though I was married before, I wasn't really walking as a wife. I was playing almost both roles the majority of the time. And then I met Marcus, and we started, we had an interesting start. We'll save that for y'all at another day and time. But I met Marcus, and I tell you guys, ladies, when you meet a man who can truly change your life, a man that touches your soul, everything in your world will change.
Speak on it.
Speak on it. But for real, guys. So I met Marcus at a very interesting time in my life. My first marriage was nearing the end. And when I truly saw Marcus for the man that he is, I was like, wow, this guy is truly changing. He just really touched something in my soul, and has caused me to want to latch on to this guy and not let go. So we've had, so I had 3 coming into the marriage. He had 1. And then together, how many have we had together, babe?
4.
We've had 4 together, guys. So yeah, we have 8 children. So
we are the 2021 version of the Brady.
2020 Brady Bunch.
Right.
Right. And so yeah, we've been through some stuff, a lot of blended family stuff, and that's the kind of stuff that we want to share, and what's helped us along this journey. So what about you, babe? What's your story?
Well, I came from you can say a broken home. My parents split up when I was just a babe, probably like literally a month old. My parents decided, like, you know what, I think we're better apart. So, that was my first introduction into marriage and into a relationship. And so I was raised with a single mom, raised majority with my grandparents, spent a lot of time with them. My grandmother was my rock. My grandfather was my example of what a God-fearing man that led his household. He was one of those that was quiet and carried a big stick, didn't say much, but he gave you that look, and his presence when you walked in, he demanded respect. And I was like, man, I want to be just like my grandfather. And so I modeled myself after him. So growing up, with a single mom, she was wonderful. That's my rock too. I love her to death. She worked 2-3 jobs to make sure I had what I had, but I was majority with my grandparents. As I grew up, as a young man, I was great. I was raised to respect women, have good morals, and all that kind of stuff. Went to church and great foundation and all that. But yeah, I wilded out in my 20s.
Oh boy!
When I hit
Yes,
what was it, 21? Oh, it was on. I left home, thought I was grown, and I got my butt whooped for a little bit. And then of course I had my first child outside of wedlock. And that really surprised my grandmother. She actually thought I was on that booger sugar.
Booger sugar?
Yeah,
What is
boy,
booger
you must be
sugar?
high to have this baby right now. Because you was wet behind the ears, you don't know nothing. And
Really?
you got a baby on the way. You somebody daddy? So Yeah, so I had to mature very fast, very quickly, and like I said, I did get married, uh, um, and like I said, that marriage did not, of course, work out. We'll have more details on that later,
Oh yeah.
but that was a learning experience for me. I learned a lot through that. And as a lot of people, as you understand when you're watching this, sometimes you got married very young, and you haven't been able to experience life and live on your own and find out who you were as a person. And then you're trying to take on somebody else and say, hey, this is my husband or this is my wife. We're gonna build something together, and you don't even know who you are.
Right.
So
Right.
you kind of get lost in the sauce of
Yeah.
marriage, lost in the sauce of life, and you're like, man, this is not what I thought it was gonna be. And sometimes you just jump ship. And so now that I found this lady right here, it's a beautiful thing. Marriage is wonderful. It's great. But believe me, you're going to have your down times. You're going to have your fights. You're going to have your arguments. You're going to wake up and look at them like, you still here? You know what I'm saying? So
he really look at me like that sometimes. Like, oh, you get on my nerves.
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the whole thing about marriage. You're gonna have your spats. You're not gonna see things on eye to eye, and obviously that's how it's supposed to be. How would you feel if you had a yes man or a yes woman, like in Coming to America? Whatever you like. What do you want to do this weekend? Whatever you like. What about where do you want to go out to eat? Whatever. Nobody wants to hear that. So of course you're gonna have contrast, and you need somebody to be opposite of you to help you where you fall short.
Hold on, babe. Hold on, because you just touched on something. It's not a part of the plan, but
What's that?
you just said that.
What I done did?
You just said that. You just said a lot of men don't want a yes woman.
No.
But that's the perception that a lot of us have, that in order, like, men don't want, like, being driven, being focused, having the mindset of wanting a man but not needing a man, that independent mindset, like, I can do this on my own, but I want you to do this for me. A lot of times that's frowned upon. And so a lot of women try to, sometimes you have to dumb yourself down in order to, be this damsel in distress because you want your Prince Charming or something like that. But you just said men don't want a yes woman.
No, we don't. No.
Speak up. Why you say that? Men be running game. They don't. They know they want a strong woman. That's right, Lisa.
Okay, so let me clarify.
Please clarify. Please.
Yes.
Stay away from strong-minded women. Right, Regina? We've heard that. Come on, Mr. Bowie.
So we going here on the
we
first
pivoted.
episode.
We pivoted.
And that's how you pivot. Okay. So when I say yes, woman, we want you to have your own identity. We want you to have your own mind. Of course, the thing about when we're finding that perfect mate, you want her to be fit, feminine, and cooperative.
Hold on. What did you just say? Speak a little bit louder. I don't know if they heard you.
You want her to be fit. You want her to be feminine, and you want her to be cooperative. And fit, which means she's got to be pleasant to the eye, and always the beauty's in the eye of the beholder. She has to be feminine. You know what I'm saying? We don't really want to date another one of us. We want her to be soft, submissive, very feminine, elegant, classy, just everything that we are not. Rough and tumble, dirty, stanky. That's not what we want, ladies. No. Okay. Fit, feminine, and cooperative. Now, I know when they say, he trying to tell me what to do. I ain't no time. It's like, look, the man is the head, right? Am I right?
You are the head of this household.
The man is the head.
You are my head, yes.
So we want a woman that is going to cooperate with what we have in place for the family. Setting a foundation, setting guidelines, setting a program to administer for everybody to live by in the house.
Oh, so you just said a whole bunch of stuff, Mr. Bowie. You just said fit, feminine, and cooperative. And then you done dropped out that S word.
And what's that
S word? Submissive.
I know, that's fucking nerve. Huh?
No, the old flower. you know it would have struck a nerve. Like Flower in her 20s, the Flower in her late 30s, I'm good with it. I'm Gucci because I understand that me being submissive shows more power than more power and restraints and willpower for me. It shows that I'm a stronger person, a stronger woman when I am able to submit, because first I submit to God.
Ultimately,
I submit to God before I submit to you any day, right?
Yes.
And because my submission to God is so on point, it's easy for me to submit to my husband. But when my husband began to share his vision, because I think this is where a lot of women get caught up, and where I got caught up. I'll speak for myself. I struggled submitting to a man who did not have a vision for me, my kids, my family. So how can I submit to a man who doesn't have a vision and who doesn't know his work? Now, I'm not talking about his job. I'm talking about his purpose. Because if I'm going to be a helpmeet or a helpmate to that man, he needs to know where the hell he's going. He needs. You can't take.
But what if the compass? He got a compass, but it may not work sometimes.
If his compass isn't working, that means that he's not connected to the source. So if he's not submitted to God, that means that wherever his compass is leading him is somewhere that I definitely don't want to go.
Honestly, yes. That's what I say, women, ladies. That's what I'm saying. You're supposed to be cooperative and submissive to a man who is being led by God.
Okay. Now we get.
You don't submit yourself and put yourself under somebody. Now, first of all, you shouldn't be in a marriage or in a relationship with somebody that's not evenly yoked with you, or if you are a believer, that he is a believer as well. So therefore, it's going to work with you sitting under, being cooperative and being submissive in the program. You know, but if he's not being led by God, he's being led by some other entity, then you have every right to say, this is not the program that I need to be under.
Right.
Because I serve God. And if you're not serving God, then we have an issue. There's going to be a conflict, and that's a recipe for disaster.
That's a recipe for a whole disaster. That's a recipe for some baby daddy drama, some baby mama drama, some child support issues, somebody might even catch a case, because well, we ain't gonna talk about my past, but that's a recipe for disaster. Don't judge me, Marcus. I already told you, don't judge me.
How am I judge you? Have you seen my resume?
I didn't see your resume, but I love your resume because it shows that the growth. And that's one thing that we are going to be talking about on this channel is how do we constantly level up? How do we constantly become better versions of ourselves? How do we take our marriage from where it started to be able to build something long term? Because we'd have been there, but now you have a vision for our family. I've bought into your vision, and the kids are on board with the vision. So now we can all be moving in the right direction. That's right. You can't submit to no fool. You can't. But I did in my past though, and it left me in a pretty bad situation.
But you know what? You gotta go. I'm gonna say this, and we move on. You gotta go through trials and tribulations. You gotta go through trash to get to that treasure. So you can't dismiss bad relationships, because they help you value the good relationship and that good man and that good woman. And you can be like, ooh, where have you been all my life? Is that last one? Lord have mercy. So that makes you appreciate the gem that you get, and the man and woman that you get that you're supposed to be with. It's just going to feel that much better.
You're right, babe.
It's going to lock.
You're right. You're right. If I didn't experience the things and the foolery that I did in the past, then I wouldn't have appreciated the man that you are. So I definitely agree with you on that. Appreciate you, babe. So now, guys, we're gonna switch on over to switch on over to one of the topics that we want to talk about tonight, and that is seasons. And so we are definitely firm believers that personal development and leveling up is so important. So we read a lot, we listen to a lot of personal development. We constantly at YouTube University, because it's free. Get you some YouTube University. You guys know I'm a firm believer. If you can't hire a coach, or you ain't whatever, if you don't have no sister circle, whatever, go to YouTube University. At least it said you gotta have that, or you won't fully appreciate good. Yes.
Amen.
Yes. Yes. You gotta have some bad. You gotta have somebody no. You gotta have no. You gotta have that. That's just my story. That's just my story. You know, I had to go through some stuff to really appreciate this gentleman right beside me, because people used to think my husband was a square. I'm like, that's not no square. That is a king. That's a king right there. That is a king right there.
Speak on it. Tell them.
That is a king right there.
You know, but some people will judge it just because how you walk, talk, and your background, and they have no idea your struggle, your strife, your testimony. They just looking at you on the outside and say, oh, well, he look or she's talking a certain type of way, or they from this background, they went to this school, and like, you have no idea what I just went through. You know what I'm saying? So people will judge you all day. That don't mean a hill of beans to nothing.
A hill of beans. You channeling Great Grand right now. You a hill of beans. We miss you, Great Grand. But guys, you hit on a lot of good stuff, babe. A lot of great points. Yes, L7, she heard that her husband was that my brother is far from an
What's up, Corey?
Shout out to CB. Shout out to Corey Brown, guys. But like I said, in transitioning to one of the topics that we want to talk about tonight, since we had this awesome sidebar, it's going to be seasons. Because it's the seasons that we go through are very interesting, guys. We know that there's a season for, that's right, I like me a nerd. You a sexy nerd though, babe. You a sexy nerd. Where your glasses at? You wear your glasses tonight. But guys, oh my gosh. But guys, yes, seasons. Seasons, we go through seasons, we go through ebbs and flows constantly. In our families, individually, and in your marriage. And so tonight we want to touch on seasons, because sometimes we miss out on a lot of blessings, a lot of things, a lot of opportunities, because we throw in the towel during the storm. We throw in the towel before God can really show up and show out in some of those relationships in our lives. We throw in the towel just when things start getting hard. We throw in the towel when we are challenged, and when we are stretched, and when we are pulled into a different place. And so again, seasons are so important. But it's funny because a lot of times we live just for today. We don't have that. I'm putting you to sleep, babe. We don't we don't look at life from a bird's eye view. We look at life from a micro lens instead of a macro lens. But if you raise yourself up to a higher altitude and look at your life in the form of months and years and decades versus minutes and hours and days, you will start to see the patterns and the seasons that you've been through, and the victories that you've been able to overcome and achieve once that season is over, once those storms are over. So, babe, do you want to break down, I guess, the seasons in terms of like winter, spring, summer, fall? I'm putting you on the spot, boo.
Well, I'm gonna need a little help.
I got you. I got you.
Some notes.
Well, first, what do you think about seasons, though?
I mean, seasons is inevitable. Like I said, life and business come in seasons. You can't change the seasons, okay? You know, there's gonna be winters, right? Which means you're gonna be in a deficit. You're gonna go through some things in the winter, and then you're gonna go through stuff in the summer, right? And because it's hot in the summer. It's summer. It's hot. It's scorching. You're gonna have challenges. You're gonna have a lot of enemies come at you in the summer. I'll explain that. Then you got harvest. Okay. And that's when you have your abundance. That's when things are looking good. The businesses are popping. You got people coming in, talking, networking, money's flowing, things are looking good. Mm-hmm. And so life and business is like seasons. They're inevitable. Right. They've been happening for years now. They haven't changed. They're not going to change. The only thing that you can change is you. You have to change with the season,
Okay.
right? So I guess the first one we're going to start off with is winter. So I just want to know for you, what does winter mean to you?
Oh, okay. So we'll talk about winter, and then we'll get ready to go to a commercial break in just a moment.
Mhm.
But for me, winter in the winter time is when when I look at my winters. Winters are when you're more still because it's cold outside. Winters is when winter is a time where you really, I call it like inside of an incubator period, where you're masterminding, you're thinking of your plans, you're reviewing what you did in the previous season, you're thinking about, okay, I could have tweaked this, we could have done this better. For example, we'll just use savings, for example. So in different times of the year, we know that we have more birthdays, we have more things going on. And so, but at the end of every year, which is during winter time, we've always like, man, we want to walk into the new year with more money. We want to be able to save more money going into each new year. Each new year, we want to grow and grow and grow. But in this winter time, we evaluated some things coming out of 2020. And we're like, you know what? This winter season, we're going to be intentional with our funds. We're going to be intentional with how we're saving and how we're spending, because this year, going into 2021, we want to have more saved in our bank account than we've ever been able to do since we've been together. And so during this winter season, because we were thinking about the previous seasons and we were able to put that game plan together, coming into this winter, we were able to walk into this new year with more money saved than we've ever done before. And so that's what I think winter is, babe. It's just really a season for you to rest, reflect, and rejuvenate. Shout out to Sabbatical House. Shout out to the ministry. Plug for the ministry. For you to truly rest, reflect, and rejuvenate, and really come out into that, be prepared to really go hard in the springtime. So that's what my view on winter. What is yours?
Awesome. So we all know winter follows the harvest, which is fall.
Right.
Which is basically like in 2020. And as you said, you go through the first part of 2021, which we're in right now.
We're in the springtime.
Well, we're in the spring, but we just went through a winter.
We just came out of, right?
People have a tendency to overlook the winter because they had such this extravagant, blissful harvest.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize that there's turmoil, there's scarcity over the horizon. So you have to be prepared for the downs.
Right.
Okay? Because it's the seasons are up and down.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be always consistent. It's not always going to be just even playing. It's going to be ups and downs.
Right.
So you got to learn how to handle and navigate your winters.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because with winters, they don't last forever, right? But with winters, difficulty follows opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like night follows day. And you have recession comes after expansion. But during those times, like you said, it's an incubator season to better yourself, right? Take time to do a little bit more research, to read, manifest yourself, build yourself, meditate, come up with a game plan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these are times when you should be brainstorming, putting a master plan together as far as your business or your relationship or school or whatever you're trying to maximize your potential,
whatever
where you're trying to go.
Is, right.
You should become out of winter wiser, stronger, and better than you were coming into the season.
Right.
Don't waste your winter. And people have a tendency to waste the winter because it's not a feel-good time.
Right. And we've wasted some winter periods.
Mm-hmm.
And winter is just not the actual winter season. You could be in a winter season during the summer. Winter is really just when God has you on a pause. When things are not at it, when business is not working, when your marriage is, when you guys are not on the same page, that could be a winter season for you guys. And so when you sense that slowdown in your marriage, in your business, in your relationships with your kids, it's a sign that you need to pause, a sign that you need to reflect, and then you need to rejuvenate. Come up with a plan. Be honest, be transparent with yourself, and then be transparent with your partner, because a lot of times there's a lot of confusion that happens in the winter, because a lot of us, we become very quiet, very still, and very to ourselves sometimes. And when we're going through a season of a pause, like Marcus said, when things aren't going your way, it's hard, and you wanna retreat inward. You don't want to talk to nobody. It feels like you got some depression going on. You feel like you're in a sunken place because the sun isn't shining, because there's more darkness than it is light surrounding you. And so, yeah, those rare times, they can be times where you're not productive. But I'm telling you, if you focus during that winter time, you are better prepared for the spring. Because your spring, you can see really good results or you can see amazing results, but it all depends on what you do during that winter time, what you do during that pause. But guys, I think we got to get ready to take a commercial break. So we'll go to break really quick, and then we will come right back with more Beyond the Vowz.
All right, good.
Life is better when you are living on purpose, but many times we get stuck in the rat race and in the mundane task of our day-to-day lives, causing most to lose sight of their purpose. That's why certified life coach, inner healer, and business strategist LaFlower-PREMIERE is here to help you get calibrated to your calling through proven systems, techniques, and resources. Order a copy of her book, Principles to Reposition, to assist you with your journey, or schedule a free clarity session to kickstart the journey. After these sessions, clients have stated they found clarity and opened their eyes to things they had long forgotten. So get social and follow LaFlower on all social media platforms at LaFlower-PREMIERE. And don't forget to mention Stunner Radio sent you.
All right, guys, welcome back to Beyond the Vowz with Marcus and LaFlower. So we just wrapped up talking about, hey, Deandra, thanks for tuning in, hun.
What's up, sis?
So we were talking about wintertime. Now, Marcus, let's jump into the spring. So I know we talked a little bit about the spring, but what comes after that pause, that dark night of the soul, when we are just like, feels like we're fighting for our lives, better yet, trying to, master plan and still pull things together?
So you definitely have to take advantage of the springs. It's not a time to be lazy. It's not a time to be distracted in the spring.
Right.
Because we can get distracted because you're coming out of your deficit, you're coming out of your winter, and things are looking a little bit better. But if you had worked, well, I'm not going to say work, you're working in the spring, but I'm saying the winter, you took the time to game plan. You have a vision. You read, you meditated, you asked God, you prayed, you have all that together. Spring is now the time to put all that manifestation into works.
Right.
Faith without works is dead. Spring is the time to get busy. That's when you remember the story of the ant. He's out here putting stuff up. He's just working his little self off. He's gathering his stuff. He's putting stuff aside. He's over here building stuff while everybody else is like, well, dang, it's pretty out. It's gorgeous out. We want to have fun. We're chilling. Why is he working? Because he has a vision. He hibernated. He had a game plan. Right. He said, as soon as the season is over, I'm just to go to work.
Right.
We don't have time to be lazy. We don't have time to play games. We have only so many springs in our lifetime.
Right.
And we cannot waste those times of work, of putting in sweat equity. That's what it is, sweat equity.
Right.
Right. And that's what our springs are for.
Right. I like how you said we only have so many springs in our lifetime, because I'm a firm believer of maximizing on those pivotal moments of time that God gives you to really go out and do it. Just go out. If he's telling you to go write that book, go write that book. If he's telling you guys to have another child, go have that. Go do what you got to do to make that baby. If he's telling you to launch that business, go out and do it, guys. I'm telling you, there are so many things that you can do when it comes to your springtime in your life or in your business, whatever it is. But don't waste the springtime looking around, enjoying it, because For some people, 2020 was winter period. For me, 2020 was winter. You know, being pregnant, getting sick, being put on bed rest, and you know that was hard. That was hard for me.
For everybody.
Whatever. It was hard. It was hard. I felt like almost the whole family was in a winter period because I was in a winter period because I was on pause, and I'm not used to being on pause for that long. But I came out of that winter season with the game plan for my ministry, with a game plan for our, me and Marcus talked about what we want to do for family, and starting this show was one of the things that we were going to do, and it just aligned, and this is the platform that we're going to do it on. And so you're so right, babe, when it comes to spring. Now, what happens in the summertime? What happens in the summer?
Now, the summer is going to be challenging times. And also the summer will bring enemies. So you have to really
Why you say it bring you enemies?
Because that's when things are looking really good. You know, the summertime, it's pretty out. Everything's looking fine. That's when you feel good. The business is looking good. Your relationship is looking good. That's when you're definitely going to be under attack. It's when everything is looking great. It's not when you're down in the dumps that you're going to get attacked. It's when things are looking good, you're on top, or you think you're on top, and everything's just lining up. That's when the enemy is going to make its point to bring you down. But that's when you're supposed to nourish your values at all costs. You have to protect your crops, protect your business, protect your marriage, protect your family, right? And I like to use acronyms like a mother. You have to nourish those things like a mother nourishes and protects her child. And then you also have to protect like a father. When the enemy comes to invade,
right?
He is going to lay down his life. He is going to make sure that that does not happen.
Yeah.
But I'm saying summertime is when you're going to have challenges. That's when you're going to have strife. That's when a lot of things are going to be coming your way because everything is looking so good. And you're feeling so good.
It's hot in the summertime. It's hot. That's what Regina said.
There you go. Snakes come out.
Snakes come out in the summertime. When you think everything is going good, for us, we're like, Lord, whatever it is, we're just praying that, because we already have the expectation that we're going to be attacked. And so we just, it's not if we're going to be attacked, it's when we're like, what's going to come to try to take our marriage out? What is going to come to try to take our finances? What's going to come to try to disrupt our children? What we already know. And so that's our prayer now versus, that there won't be any attacks. Because honestly, at this point in the game, I think that's a foolish prayer for us to pray that nothing happens, because we're setting ourselves up for hurt and for disappointment in ourselves, which is going to lead to disappointment in your relationship, which is then going to lead to you questioning and asking God, like, why me? If anything, okay, why not me? Why give me that battle? Give me that war. Let me go win this war really quick, so I can know that no weapon formed is gonna prosper, because we know that the weapons will form, guys. But I think the summertime takes so many of us out, because we get all caught up in, no offense to nobody, but we get all caught up in manifestation and things like that. And I'm a huge believer in my affirmations and my positive mindset. But we also have to be prepared for the attacks. God never told us that we wouldn't be attacked. No. He never said the weapons would not form. But he said the weapons wouldn't prosper, right? And so even with the weapons being formed, some of us don't even want to see the weapons come near us. But when I understood that the weapons are going to form, I'm going to see the weapons. And they may even cross that line and come close to me, but I know that they won't prosper. I know that weapons are going to form against my marriage. I know that weapons are going to form when it comes to my children. I know that weapons are going to form in my job. I know that weapons are going to form in my business. I know that the snakes are going to attack, because in the summertime they come out. And it's like, we already know, like, crime rises in the summertime, right? People don't want to work in the summertime, so they're going to try to come and get your stuff. It's hot. People frustrated. They got attitudes, everything. And so that's why we prepare in the wintertime. We get that mindset. We get that game plan in the wintertime. So when those gates open in the spring, we're able to go to work, right? And in the summertime, we're still working, but at the same time, we are prepared for the attacks. And the attacks won't take us out because our crops are still growing. What we plant, the stuff that we planted in the springtime is still growing. Now transition us into the harvest, babe.
And that's our fall season, the harvest. That's when all your work, all your vision has come to fruition. And it's a beautiful time. That's when you really, really, really see the fruits of your labor.
Amen to that.
Right? And that's what we want. We want the pluses, not the minuses. We want to look at the glass half full and not half empty.
Right.
But the thing is, some people, when you have your blessing, when you have your harvest, don't be apologetic for it. You should be honored that you've reached that plateau, that you have that harvest. It was meant for you. That is your blessing. Some people feel ashamed. Some people feel unworthy. If you had a vision, you put in the work, and you protected what you're doing, and
you're operating in integrity.
Yes, and you're operating in the way God wants you to. Don't be ashamed of the successes and the benefits that you get. Don't let people talk you out of the things that you deserve, because that's your harvest. You put in the work. That is yours. That is your blessing. Don't let anybody talk you out of your blessing and what God has honored you with. Because what you can be blessed with, you can bless others. You know what I'm saying? So
now that's hard. That's hard. That's one thing that I know I've struggled with in the past, is not feeling guilty for my success.
You can't. Even
though I did the work I planned in the wintertime. I did the work in the springtime. I protected my investment, protected my family. I protected what my assignment. And it's when harvest time comes, I still felt guilty. I felt guilty for the people that didn't make it. I felt guilty for the people that I had to leave behind. I felt guilty for the family I had to leave behind. I felt guilty. But now I understand that I have to be successful. I have to own my success. I have to own my worthiness.
Also, too, you have to also take ownership for your harvest if it don't turn out like you wanted to. That works both ways.
Speak up. Say it one more time.
You got to take ownership for the harvest, even though it don't turn out like you want to. You planted it, you worked it, you manifested it, and it didn't turn out. You got to own it, though. And you can't make excuses. You can't say, well, it was... No. Did you really sacrifice? Did you really put in that work? Did you really do what you needed to do? Own up, fess up, and that's your harvest. It is what it is.
You're right. But that's why we go back into the wintertime. Because the wintertime, you evaluate. You're right. You rest, reflect, and rejuvenate. You reset in the wintertime. How was this previous harvest? Lisa said, that's right. Everybody has an opportunity to put in the work. You did the work, you deserve the victory. Amen to that. I like that. But guys, if the harvest didn't turn out the way you wanted it, if that business did not launch the way you wanted it, if you're sitting at another anniversary and it's your another anniversary for your marriage, and you guys are still in the exact same spot that you were last year, you have to take time and evaluate that harvest. How much time did you put into that person? How many things did you do intentionally just to show that person, like, hey, I'm guarding your heart no matter the cost. I'm intentionally loving you. I'm not loving you by chance, by accident, out of luck. I am intentionally loving you. I'm intentionally putting in the work for my business. I'm intentionally putting in the work to get to the next level in my career. We have to be intentional. And again, when we go back into that winter season, if it didn't work out, then we gotta be transparent and look ourselves in the mirror and go at it again. That's the beauty of this journey. these seasons come. Lisa said, yes, love is a choice and it is intentional. Absolutely.
They're not going to change. They're going to follow each other. It's just a system.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you have a way of, like you said, the beautiful thing about it and what God does for us, he gives us a reset.
Right.
Right. So just because we had a horrible harvest, and then our winters is going to be rough, doesn't mean that our spring is not going to bring opportunity, and that our summer is just going to be a drought.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Right. And then one more thing, guys. Sometimes what I realized, sometimes I was planting seeds. I'm about to preach a little bit. I was planting seeds for money. I was praying for money. I was like, God, give me this business so I can launch, so that I can make X amount of dollars. It was all about the money. But sometimes you have to, it's not all about the money. It's about, what are you going to do with the money? What are you going to do with the resources? Whose lives are you going to impact with the harvest that you were asking for and with the harvest that you were working for? Because if you're just praying for money, if you're just working for money, if you're just planting seeds of money, then a lot of time that crop won't come back the way you want it to, or you will simply get what you put into it. You will simply just get back, instead of that crop multiplying 10 times, 10-fold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold. So reevaluate as you're going into your next winter season, or if you're in your spring right now. I challenge you to evaluate what you are going to use your harvest for, right? Because we have some big goals. We have 20-year goals. We got retirement goals. We have family goals. We got big goals because we got a whole lot of kids, right? But our end goal is legacy. What does legacy look like for us? Because for us, legacy is not just money in the bank. What is legacy? Right? All right, babe. Anything else on seasons that you want to talk about?
Well, no, I think we pretty much touched on everything as far as like with the seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You got to maximize the seasons.
Right. Amen to that. All right, guys. So now we're going to transition it into the segment of our show where every week we're going to put up a poll question on our social media at Beyond the Vowz. You guys go follow us on Instagram, on Facebook. And so every week we're going to have a poll question up that we're going to talk about during this time. And so the question that Marcus and I are going to talk about, which we would have had a poll up for, we'll probably still put the poll up. So we may have 2 polls up this week. So I was on social media over the weekend, guys, and I saw a successful young lady that I follow. She's in real estate, just like Marcus and I are. And she stated that her and her husband sleep in separate bedrooms. What do y'all think? Could you and your husband sleep in separate bedrooms? Not beds, like, who was that? I Love Lucy?
Mm-hmm.
Where they sleep in separate twin beds, but separate bedrooms. Excuse me. So could you and your spouse sleep in separate bedrooms? And she said they did it they had a good reason for doing it.
I was just about to ask you, what was their reason for this?
So basically they have a toddler.
Okay.
And the toddler was, they would take turns with the baby. They would take turns with their youngest daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And so some nights the mom would take care of her to let the dad get sleep, and you know, it would flip-flop. And then she said that sometimes she likes to be up watching her own shows and, you know, binge watching her shows. And sometimes he loves music and he would be up to the wee hours of the morning playing music.
Mm-hmm.
So and she said they still came together and did what they did. Said that area of their marriage was not suffering. But I don't think I could ever. I think I would just be willing to deal with the TV. Regina said my grandparents slept in separate bedrooms. Okay, and normally we hear about that with the old people. But what you think?
I get it. It can kind of make sense because, you know, that used to be kind of the issue we had where in our younger days, I would play video games in the
Yes,
bedroom,
Lord.
and you know she try to roll over and she pop up and be looking like, how long
You
you
still
gonna
on this
be?
game?
And I'm just getting it in, you know what I'm saying? And I understand that where you want your partner to get rest, you don't want whatever you're doing to interfere with them. But at the same token, I think that kind of causes you to have different goals.
Lisa said, nah.
Different. You're going to be indifferent. Period.
Mm-hmm.
There's not going to be a togetherness. Like, you should compromise. That doesn't sound like you're compromising. Like, take yourself to sleep. Like, if I'm want to go to bed, let's go to bed. Cut the TV off, cut the radio off, let's go to bed. Now, we have a baby. She's 4 months, and she sleeps with us. And, yeah, it can be a little taxing. She's crying. She has moments she wakes up, but we handle this together. I don't see the need of being in 2 separate bedrooms. It sounds like they don't want to compromise or give up their likes and what they want to do during that time for each other. And to me, that sounds a little bit selfish. Like, you know, I don't, like my wife is sleeping. Let me go ahead and turn this TV off and let me lay down with my wife and go to bed.
Right. Right.
Or, you know what I'm saying, if you like trying to read a book or whatever and you see the lights burning, like, you know what, I'll, you know, either go, now I understand some people might go in the other room, but I'm thinking like if it's bedtime, if it's time to go to bed, we should both be in bed.
Right, right. So if we wanted, for me, if there's things that I want to do, like if I want to be up late working on something, then I just stay in my creative corner and I'll work on that.
Go in the office.
Or if Marcus wants to work on something, or if he's listening, if he's jamming out, he'll be in the garage with his cigar friends and, you know, he's rocking it out. But for me, I think that Lisa says a no for me. Absolutely. It's a big no for me for 2 reasons. One, I like being intimate with my husband.
But she said they come together.
But you know, sometimes it's like, but for me, it's like that would have to be planned, right? And we all know some of the best sex is like when it's spontaneous, when it's like I don't want to have to put sex on a calendar for my marriage, right? Mm-hmm. I don't want to have to do that. Lisa said, nah, man, play a game with your headphones on. Yes, not sleeping when I'm outside every other room. I love it, right? And so, again, one, I like being intimate with my husband, so that's gonna be a no. 2, I do believe that when that happens, you give space and opportunity for discord to come into your marriage at some point.
Yes. Right?
And so what if it is one of those late nights, right? And y'all in y'all separate rooms. We know people be dropping in people's DMs. We know that, you know, temptation is out there. Can we just be real? Can we just be real? Nobody walked down the hall for my man. Exactly. But temptation is out there, especially when it comes to relationships and to marriages these days, right? Instagram is it's a lot of temptation out there. I'll just say that. And so when you are in separate rooms away from each other, you might be willing to do things that you may not do if you were laying next to your spouse, right? So I believe that when you are in those separate bedrooms, it does give room for the enemy to come in and create that discord and division between you guys. Now, if it's a night, like if I'm not feeling good, I have laid down in another room because if my husband was on the game or if he was watching a movie, then I'll just go, if I have a headache or something, I have gone in another room just to lay down, right? Mm-hmm. But it wasn't a permanent thing. It was just, hey, I need to go lay down and take a nap. And I didn't want to say, hey, go, turn that movie off. I was just being considerate of his feelings, right? But when you, absolutely, Lisa, it creates, no, we don't need no wedges. We got enough wedges trying to come up against us than for us to freely open the door and let discord and division come into our situationship, our marriageship, right? So anything else on that topic, or that's just a no for you?
Yeah, I definitely have to say no. I mean, even for me, like you said, you want to be intimate with your spouse whenever you want to. You want to be able to roll over and see them, feel them. And like you said, it causes eventually, with time, it's going to become an issue.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to feel like you're not spending enough time together.
Right.
And then when you bring it up, the other person's like, well, we're in separate rooms.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do what I need to do. You do what you need to do. What's the problem?
Right.
So, you know, it does open a whole Pandora's box of problems. And so I don't really think that's a really good idea for a good, healthy marriage and a good, healthy relationship.
Absolutely. And Lisa brought up a good point too. She said that she didn't think that it was good for kids to see their parents sleeping in separate bedrooms. I totally agree, because already the marriage union is it's almost non-existent sometimes. It is gonna be cold. It's gonna be very cold. So we know that it happens for some. It works. You know, it's working for that couple. It may work for some of you guys, but you know, it's just not something that I don't see could work for us. I don't even like him being out of town.
Although you might find yourself having a little bit more room.
Oh my gosh, you may have a little bit more.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow, you trying to put me on blast and tell everybody that
No.
I take all the room in the bed?
Well, I mean, you said it. I mean,
Wow, ladies, I think that it's
that should be another poll.
Lisa just said that her husband is like her heater. She likes to be close to him.
Yeah, and we're left with like 18 inches, 24 inches of real estate on a king size bed or something. But that's a whole nother topic.
SMH Marcus. All right, guys. So as we get ready to wind down our premiere episode of Beyond the Vowz, Marcus, can you really just share with everybody what do you want? What's your big vision for Beyond the Vowz, for people to really tune in with us every week, and like, what's your vision for it?
You know what, I totally forgot what the saying was.
You were so silly.
Basically, what it comes down to is basically self-development. This whole thing, this journey that we're talking about, is getting back to you. You have to better yourself. To better your outcome, to better your vision, to better your relationships, your job, your friendships, your family. You gotta better yourself. Self-development. And that could be anything from investing into therapy. Therapy is a good thing for people. And I know for us as people of color, we like therapy. Oh no, I ain't paying nobody. Therapy is a beautiful thing. We all need therapy. Like, everybody needs therapy. And then also just education wise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you got to go back to school, but reading. Like she said, there's knowledge on the computer, YouTube. If there's something that you want to know, find out. Don't be content with just not knowing.
Right.
Better yourself. And then join some kind of, like, some book clubs or join some kind of community or something.
Mm-hmm.
Network with other people to help you on your journey.
Right.
But our whole thing is just self-development, getting to a better you. Right?
Absolutely. So yeah, we just want to have some thought-provoking conversations that's going to challenge us to level up individually as well as a couple. Right? So we definitely appreciate you guys for tuning in to the show today. Again, you can follow us on at Beyond the Vowz on Instagram, on Facebook. You can follow me, LaFlower-PREMIERE, on Instagram, Facebook, all social media platforms. We look forward for you guys to tune in and participate in our next poll that we're going to have up. So we're going to have a new question up for this week, but we're also going to ask, how do you guys feel about sleeping in those separate bedrooms, guys? So we definitely hope that everyone has an amazing week. We pray that you guys are able to level up. And most importantly, we want you guys to think about this season. What season are you in right now? Are you in a winter season, a spring season, a summer season? Don't let your enemy take you out during the summer. Or are you in full harvest right now? And if you are, go for it. Reap everything. Go after everything that is yours by divine right. All right. Good night, guys.
And I'll leave you with this. Never settle. Always take it to the next level.
Yes, I love it. Never settle. Always take it to the next level. Good night, guys.
All right.
This show is sponsored in part by Sweet Bella's Adult Candy and Treats, custom-made popcorn, gummies, lollipops, and other treats infused with genuine premium wine and spirit, also offering fun-flavored vodka and tequila. Sweet Bella's Adult Candy and Treats uses only top-shelf liquor and quality wine. For more information, follow Sweet Bella's Adult Candy and Treats today on Facebook, Instagram, or Etsy, or place an order at sweetbellastreats@gmail.com. That's Sweet Bella's Treats with a Z at gmail.com. And don't forget to mention Stunner Radio sent you.